So promos up. Can someone just go over to the Twitch channel? Promos up. Can someone just go over to the Twitch channel? It's catching our audio. It's catching our audio. And I will bring up the mics on everything. Yep. Can everyone hear us fine? They can hear me fine. Can they hear everyone on the other end? Can I just get people to talk from?
I have a response to someone watching say yes, they can hear.
Yeah, sorry about this. I've got a different setup. And we're getting echo because I need to mute that. There we go. Yeah, I've got a different setup, and because one laptop is broken right now, and so my partner is using my laptop, so I'm using another laptop I have for this. Anyway, right, so we're all good. So I'm Chris from Dark Days Radio and Dark Hammer, and this is a charity stream game for Roll for Ukraine. You should be able to see in the links that have popped up in the chat where to donate. So donate at the Facebook link for Roll for Ukraine. If you go there, you will find also links for merchandise. All proceeds from that, all profit proceeds from that, will also go to the charity, which is being managed by the guys over at Monocane Publishing. I doubt I have to explain what Roll for Ukraine is about. It's a charity appeal to raise funds to support the people that are displaced due to the conflict in Ukraine. So I won't dwell on the further details of that. All I will say is that the reason for this is that Monocane Publishing, members of our friends over there, have family members in Ukraine, and I currently have a friend who is reporting from the front lines of Ukraine and has seen firsthand what's going on there, and he's previously reported from places like Syria, so he is very aware of what it's like for people to be displaced by war. Anyway, moving on, we are playing today a streamed game of Age of Sigmar Soulbound, which is a roleplay game by Cubicle 7 set in the mortal realms of Age of Sigmar. So this is not the Warhammer world, old world. This is the worlds beyond that, the worlds after that, many millennia on, and is therefore a much more heroic, dark heroic fantasy with more, I would say, grandiose Greco-Roman mythic story elements to it, rather than what you expect from dirt farmers, rat catchers, or even D&D style grunts, because who wants to play that? Anyway, so the GM for this game today is Rob, who you will know from Realm 5 podcast, who has also guested on Darkhammer, chatting about all things Warhammer of all flavours. And I will hand over to Rob to carry on for running the game.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Chris. Yes, thank you all, and thank you for the people who are watching. We've got a game on today. We're playing Soulbound, and we're playing the Reap and Sow scenario, which is the one that was released by Cubicle 7 for Free RPG Day, which is free on their website as a PDF. So if you want it, if you like what you see, or you think, Rob's rubbish, I could do this much better, go get it for free off Cubicle 7 and you can do it yourself. It is a bit more stripped down than the full Soulbound system, which is great for online play. So if you're looking at your big Soulbound core book and saying, hang on, that's not how that works, don't worry about it. It's a little bit different. So just admire its game. It's about orcs and walking trees and stuff. It's fine. Don't chill out. So this is a scenario set in the realm of death, in the realm of Shaiish. A very dark, miserable place, as you'd expect. This is a area of the mortal realms which is an amalgamation of all of the underworlds, of all of cultures and societies. This is like where you'd see the sort of Western idea of heaven and hell rubbing up with the Viking idea of Valhalla, rubbing up with anyone else's ideas. But over the past few millennia, it's been slowly encroached and taken over by a single god by the name of Nagash, who has basically stamped his version of the underworld, his idea of what death should be, the perfect hell, the perfect underworld, and he now claims ownership of the whole thing. But there are people who fight against that. There are people of the free cities who belong to various races who band together, and they're trying to stop this from happening. They're fighting not only the forces of death, but the forces of destruction, the forces of chaos. And that's who our heroes are. They belong to the forces of order in a small group known as the Soulbound, who are little bands of heroes, your classic fellowships, which are bound together. Literally, their souls are bound together, and they are sent off on various expeditions or missions by the great and the good to just try and arrest these not literally arrest, but to stop these encroachments by more malevolent forces in the realms. And that's who we have here. So we'll just quickly go around each character. If you just want to give your name, and a very, very brief, you can just literally say what you look like or who you are, or even your character class effectively. I'll start with Chris, because you're the host. So, yep. Chris,
I'm playing Zan Baymir, who is a war priest of Sigmar. So he is from the realm of Akshai, which is the realm of fire. He's got tanned, dark olive skin. He's a bit fiery of temper, but obviously, believes that in camaraderie and working together to do the right thing while showing the agents of the ruinous powers absolutely no mercy.
Excellent. Luke, do you want to go next?
Absolutely. I'm playing Marva Daneson. She's an Endrin rigger for the Caradron Overlords. She's stalwart, she's quick-witted and jovial. She features coal black hair pulled back into a dread mohawk and a steel blue facial tattoo matching the colour of her eyes. She has a scar across the right side of her face from a previous run-in with some cornate demons.
Excellent. And we should probably explain that Malgra is a Dwarden, which is the copyright enforceable term for dwarves in this world.
Absolutely.
Sean.
Me.
You.
My character's name is Darok. He is. Oh, I just lost my thing. He was grown to serve as a defender of the Sylvaneth, is what he is. Pretty tall.
Yeah. Probably about 8 to 9 foot tall.
Yeah, something around that. 8 to 9 foot tall with branches that come out because he's basically a walking tree, a treant. the branches that come out from here, and he has a little owl and squirrel friend that live inside of him,
Yep.
and he was chosen by Alaria,
Nice.
Alaria,
Galarial,
uh,
yeah.
to become a soulbound and to learn more about the people. And apparently, he socializes with animals better than people. So
Cool. Good stuff. You're the data of the group for the Star Trek fans out there. Just before we go into it, don't worry, the owl and the squirrel will not be harmed throughout this entire scenario. They are safe. I'm putting that out now. They are safe. They are absolutely safe.
I've already named the squirrel.
Excellent. Good. We'll find that as we go. And finally, Mal.
Yes, I'm playing Vel Arturius, who is a Night Quester of the Stormcast Eternals. So my character prefers the direct approach over subterfuge, but is willing to listen.
Excellent. So yeah, again, also like Darak, you are probably about 8 foot tall, covered in armor.
Okay.
So yeah, the pair of you are very much the striking figures in the group.
Great.
Yeah, absolutely massive. Although only one of you's got a tree on your head. Excellent. So that's our Soulbound party. So let's get set up. This is all going to take place in the settlement of Grimreach. I have a map of it behind me for the players at home. As I say, if you go to Cubicle 7 and download Reap and Sow, you can look at the map as we go along. My players all have a copy of the map I've put in our group chat on the Discord. So let's just get on with it. Welcome to Grimreach. This newly founded settlement is home to almost 300 souls from the Dawnbringer Crusade. Their ambitious goal is to create a new foothold for the forces of order in Shaiish, the realm of death. The fledgling settlement lies in the heart of a barren valley, ringed by a moor of jagged rocks and skeletal trees. Every branch and outcrop seems to reach out towards the city walls, as if the land itself wants nothing more than to drag it into the grey earth. Compared to its bleak surroundings, Grimreach is a glimmering beacon of hope and life, a flickering candle in the darkness, one that you are God-sworn to protect. So we have Grimreach. It's very much, if you think of these sort of American frontier town feel, you've got a lot of shelters that have been thrown up that are quite rough and ready. There's a lot of prefabricated elements to it, but I'll just quickly give you an idea of the main features. The most important, for the purposes of security, is it is ringed by a wall. The whole thing is ringed by a wall, and not just a physical wall, but studded along the wall at various regular paces. There are tall stone statues in the shape of various noble heroes from various cultures, and these are known as the Guardian Idols. These act as almost a conductor of power, because this settlement has been built in this location for a very specific reason. There's going to be ley lines of energies that run through the mortal realms, and this one has been stuck on a really particularly powerful conjunction of these ley lines. And there is a building known as the Nexus Siphon, which is in the center of the settlement, and that sucks up all that magic energy from the ley lines and sends it out to these Guardian Idols, and they basically make almost a force field. Not as definite as like something from Star Wars, but enough to stop malevolent spirits and smaller powered things getting into the settlement and messing around. Stops the mischievous elements and the more sort of being in the realm of death. You've got spirits and revenants flying around, and it stops them. So it adds an extra level of protection to the settlement. Within the settlement itself, in what's marked on the map as Zone 2, but is in the south of the settlement, is what's known as the Aquilith. This is a giant chunk of earth that's actually been imported from the realm of life, and this produces incredibly pure water. They're brought from realm to realm, and these are dumped down, and then it basically is like a spring. It creates a magical spring where pure water comes out. Obviously, you're a settlement, you're in the middle of barren wastes, water's great. So there is this what's known as the Aquilith, and that pumps out pure water, which sort of irrigates some of the farmland to the southwest. Zone 5 on the map, the arable reclaim, where basically the crops are grown. We've gone into a lot of detail about how the settlement works. Within the settlement, there is also what's known as the Ironworld Forges, so the blacksmiths, the weaponsmiths, all that gubbins, the sort of the workshops of the settlement. There are domiciles, which are the sort of prefabricated structures where you all live and the settlers live. The Nexus Siphon, as I say, is dead center. Just above that, there is a rather large temple, and this is the Temple of Sigmar. Not all of you will worship Sigmar fully. Obviously, Zan does. Zan is fully in on Sigmar, as is Vel, being that her soul belongs to him. Darak and Malgra, you'll have your own primary gods, but Sigmar exists. This isn't a world where you say, I don't believe in them, they don't exist. You may have even seen Sigmar if you've been to the Realms Lightning, so it would be insane to say that they don't exist. But you not lip service is the wrong term, but they are secondary in your personal pantheon. For Darak, Alariel is the ultimate goddess for you. She's the goddess of life, but Sigmar is also a powerful god. You are aware. So it's more on the Greek spectrum than the Judeo-Christian gods. So there's a Temple of Sigmar, which has steps up to it, which are known as the Penitent Steps. And some of the more devout members of the settlement are seen going up and down them every day, praying to Sigmar just for protection and just as a thing to do, good exercise. There's a stables to the north of the settlement for well, I was going to say horses. Horses isn't the right term because horses spook easily, and you're in the realm of death. So what you've actually got are creatures what are known as grave steeds. These are large draft horses which have sturdy builds, dark grey pelts, bone white hooves, and they're native to Shaiish. They are used to the dead. They are used to spirits and voices and faces appearing in mirrors and pools of water. They do not spook easy. So they are reliable, they are strong, and they are not skittish. So there's a whole pack of do horses run in packed herds? There's a whole herd of grave steeds in the stables. Finally, one of the more weirder parts is there's a giant floating island above the place, to the north of the settlement. It's known as High Scryer Island because, not to go into too much detail, but these settlements are actually dragged literally by hand from the free cities on giant floating islands and then sunk into the ground. So most of this settlement has actually been a floating megalith that's been sunk into the ground. One part of it has remained above. It is chained to the ground. And up there is where the militia, the watch of the settlement stay, because it gives them a really good view over. You can see for miles and miles, so it's a great place. It's a lookout point, and yeah, it's floating just above above a lot of Grimreach. There's a bit of town to the northwest known as Underisle. No one kind of wants to live there because that's directly underneath it, and it's still a big floating bit of rock that could fall down. So you've got the High Scryer Island, but there's also Underisle. So that's Grimreach. That's your responsibility. You are here as Soulbound of Sigmar to protect this place. And part of that is you all have duties to perform. You all have sort of regular things to do. And we'll just quickly go through them now. Darak, you're the leader of the scouts. You patrol the area around Grimreach and you hunt for food that can't be grown. So, meats and stuff like that, or hunter-gathering, or gathering other produce. So that's Darak's role. Zan, you're the spiritual leader of the settlement. You conduct regular sermons from the Temple of Sigmar itself. That is kind of your stomping ground, and you provide spiritual succor and guidance for the members of the settlement. Malgra, you're a vital engineer and crafter, so you oversee the city maintenance and expansion. The guardian idols, that's kind of your responsibility, so don't let them blow up. But you're there to fix everything. And Vel, you're basically there to ensure the Grimreach defenders remain sharp and ready for anything. You train them. You're the captain, effectively, and also you're an 8-foot demigod, so you're also quite good yourself at fighting. And it's been fine. You have been here for a few weeks now. The settlement was founded a few months back, about a year ago, and you arrived just over a month ago. So you've been here for a few weeks. you have fallen into your routines, you've fallen into getting to know certain people within the settlement. To be more specific, I can give you the date of this scenario if you really want to pay attention at home. The month, it is the month of Colbane, and we are dawning on the third day of the week, known as Zenithus. So it is the second Zenithus of Colbane. So you can write that down if you want, but you don't need to. And today's a little bit different. You've all been going about your regular duties, but each of you separately have had a separate occurrence that strikes you as a bit odd. Darak, while you were scouting, and you are definitely up first light, you are up first light, take the scouts out. Before you do, though, you're approached by an elven scout called Carly Seagrave, and she looks not worried, almost puzzled. And as you are preparing yourself to lead an expedition out, she approaches. And Derek, I was out last night. You often send the elves out at night because of their like sort of better senses and stuff. And me and my party discovered a cave nearby, a strange cave system. I think you might want to have a look at it. Is basically what she suggests to you. You can not if you don't want to. If you just want to skip that, that's fine. Or do you want to go and have a look?
Have a look.
Excellent. So this is where I'll explain the mechanics. You now, in order to find this cave, thankfully, Carly points, draws you a rough map about where it is. All you need to do is pass a difficulty 4, so you need to roll 4 or more once. You only need to do it once, and you're rolling your mind in brackets survival skill. So you have a look, and your survival, they've pre-calculated it all for you. So your survival is 5 dice. You're rolling 5 dice, and you're looking to get 1 4 up.
Okay, so roll 5 dice and
You look for a single 4+.
I got 2s, 5, 5, 6.
Brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no problem. You know the area that Carly pointed out. You're aware there are like smaller cave structures. You weren't aware there was a bigger cave to get into, but Carly points out where it is, and you're able to find it easily. You find quite an unusual cave out there. It's probably about an hour's walk from Grim's Reach, all told, or an hour walk for humans. You're a bit faster, being that you're massive. And the cave itself is kind of hidden away. It's dug down deep into the tunnels. But what's really interesting is there appears to be a very small shrine at one end of it, something you've not really seen before. And the shrine is very rough and crude. It's covered in markings you've not seen. But then on the walls, as you go in and one of your scouts follows you in with a torch, the light sort of bounces in the cave walls, and there are paintings all along it. They're very rough, but they depict humans, large groups of humans, all carrying something. And as you look closer, you realize they're all carrying bones, either in bundles or they're carrying skulls. They're all just carrying parts of bodies. They're all carrying bones and parts of bodies. And they appear to be then laying these bones at the feet of a towering skeletal figure. And the skeletal figure is depicted as tall, with a incredible crown, holding a staff and a large blade. Obviously a depiction of a demigod, but they seem to be offering bones to this skeletal figure in the wall paintings. Okay. Zan, you're unaware of this while Derek is out scouting and looking in the caves. You'll give your morning sermon. I think you give a morning sermon, a mid-morning sermon, a noonday sermon, a post-noonday sermon, an early afternoon sermon, and then an afternoon sermon. And this is after your morning sermon, when you're approached by a human farmer by the name of Woolham, who you've actually got to know over the last month. And he comes to you with tale. Basically, he's known in the settlement as someone with sort of a knack of not knowing the future, but he's one of those people in the pub that will tell you it's raining because his knee hurts. And he has he come to you with his worries. Basically, he looks terrible when you see him, and he explains, "Father, all I'm getting is a sense of foreboding. Something is happening. Something out there is happening. Something's moving. He's no more definite than that, but he's very concerned and very on edge, which is not a situation you want for someone in a settlement on the frontier. You don't want anyone panicking out here. Do you want to try and sort of temper him a little bit? You know, give him a nice little sermon, or tell him about Sigmar's trials through Shaiish, kind of thing."
Yes.
It's that or punish him.
Yeah, it's that will
throw him
punish
off the
him. I
island.
mean, he's not a
Yeah.
witch, so
Yeah.
he's not a witch. He's not a dirty spawn or something like that. Yeah, I mean, Zan will mostly point the old man's eyes to the sky, and what time of day is it?
It's morning. This
It is
is after
morning.
your morning sermon.
So. Yeah, he'll do that, and but you're using in the dirt, almost in the dirt, like sketch out some of the star signs that are common to all the mortal realms, because they'll mostly be the constellations that are from the realm of heavens, which represents, the Burning Heart, Malleus, and the various other constellations and comets that represent the great dragons, and basically use that to storytell the legends of Sigmar and how he laid low Nagash multiple times in ages before our own.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's great. I'm going to make you do a theology roll then.
Yeah.
It would normally be a 4+, but I really like how you describe that, so you're getting a 3+. So you only need to get a single 3
That's
or more.
5 successes.
Brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. You are able to very easily calm Woolham down. Yeah, his eyes light up at the tales of Sigmar braving Shaiish, and he obviously, picks himself up and goes to go farm his rice, his black rice.
And of course, as he goes, I bless him in the typical way, which is doing the hammer of Sigmar, which is right to left, and from the neck down to the belly, which is the symbol of the hammer, which is the same in Warhammer Fantasy as well.
Is it?
There's multiple symbols of the hammer. You either do that, so it's kind of very much like crossing yourself, or you do you bring your arms together to do the sign of the hammer.
Okay. Or
there's always the classic.
What's that? Oh, the comet.
The comet.
I thought it was like an Instagram thing. Yeah, cool. Ace, do the sign of the hammer, and yes, Woolham absolutely is. He almost bounces down the penitent steps. You've knocked it out of him. Malgra, you're having a hell of a day. It's always a hell of a day when you're a Dwarden engineer. Things are blowing up. There's steam in your face. There's soot everywhere. As you are working you're actually maintaining your own ether rig. You basically have a rig that almost looks like a backpack that can deploy a balloon that comes out to send you up into the air so you can fly above the settlement.
Excellent.
Right, yeah. So they're very steampunk of the Caradrons. While you're maintaining your rig, one of your engineers, another Dwarden by the name of Raga, sort of pops his head round the corner and he's a bit nervous. Malgra, we've got a problem. We've got a bit of a problem.
By Grungry's beard. Speak, Ugraga. What problem is it now?
The Nexus siphon. It's stopped drawing energy.
Why didn't you come to me sooner?
We only just know we were having, it was breakfast, and then we were having our break.
Excuses, lead the way.
So Araga leads you through, and yes, you head to the Nexus siphon in the centre of the settlement. Normally there is like a constant hum of almost what we recognise as static electricity, but it's the magical energy being sucked up from the ground and then being sort of dispersed out to the Guardian Idols. It's not there. There's obviously a drop, and you can see yourself that the Guardian Idols, there's sort of the amethyst magic of Shaiish is almost collecting round them like static electricity, which is a bad sign. They should be dispelling it. So you're going to have to probably have a good look into the Nexus and see what's wrong with it. I imagine it
Iron
almost
and
like a
stone.
TARDIS stuff. So all you need to do, difficulty 1, 4+, crafting. This is what you trained for.
Yep, got 2 successes.
Fantastic. You basically find what's happened is underground, the weeds around, sort of below ground, have started to grow around the collectors, the subsurface energy collectors, and you're able to send Uraga down with a spade and do some very technical work of hacking away at the weeds until the collectors are free, and the familiar hum comes back up, and all your hair, what you've got left of it, stands up on end, and the energy field is around Grimreach again.
There we go, Raga. I don't know what I pay you for.
I mean, I don't think anyone gets paid here. And finally, Vel.
Yes.
You've been training all day
Okay.
with the Free Guild. The Free Guild are the soldiery of the settlement. When there was a cry from the front gate, and there's a huge bit of metal that they use to bar the front gates, because it's a big bit of what's the metal known as Sigmarite, which is what your armor's made out of. And that basically came loose at one point and has pinned 2 of the workers down. It's collapsed on them and pinned down 2 of the workers. And basically, you are the single strongest thing in the settlement while Darak's out investigating that cave. So you're going to have to go and basically rescue these 2 workers. Otherwise, they're going to die.
Okay,
as this
I
thing is
bound
crushing
over
them.
to them then, I suppose.
Yeah. Fantastic. All you need to do, make a might check for me. Roll your might pool. You're a single 4+.
Let's see.
And there's a cat. I saw the cat.
Yes.
Yes, fantastic. Yeah, you get across and you're able to lift it up, put it to one side, and the 2 workers who were pinned under it roll free. They're injured. They're very badly injured and need taking to be looked after. But you have prevented their slow death being crushed into the ground.
I cradle them with my massive arms. So
Nice. You're very human. That's very human of you, Vel. Sometimes you lose that touch. So that's great. Yeah, absolutely. You take time to comfort them, and they retire to be fixed up, probably by Zan using a blessing of Sigmar upon them. The rest of the day goes fine. Nothing else particularly happens. Darak, you return to the settlement. Are you going to tell the others about what you found out in the caves?
Yes.
Good stuff. So yeah, Darak, it makes you aware of the cave settlement, and it obviously was an ancient sort of like caves that were habited aeons ago, and then you sort of describe the shrine and the paintings. And the day continues until it's nearing nightfall, when the ringing of a loud bell from High Square Island interrupts your routines. Over a month of drills and troubling incidents, you've trained to recognize the sound instantly. Something dangerous is approaching the settlement. So whoever's on watch up on High Square Island is banging the bell in the danger sort of code. I don't know if it has a certain rhythm. The people so most people are within the settlement. There'll be some farmers outside working the sort of arable land. They, on that signal, immediately start heading back. But the other people in the settlement basically stop their work. The Free Guild pick up their arms. Some people obviously pick up weaponry. Others just look not bemused, but just interested. A lot will run up to the Temple of Sigmar as well to see what's happening, because that gives you a good viewpoint. Where do you 4 want to go?
Zan will mostly make his way directly to the watch, who's signalling, who's ringing that bell.
Right, so they're up on the island, so you can probably like see them up, from where you are, and they're pointing in a direction which would be something's approaching the front gate, basically.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then head directly to the gate and onto the battlements of the fort of the settlement.
yeah, exactly. I did the same.
Yeah, Derek and Malgra.
Eric's gonna go look for a spot that will give him the best visual.
Mm-hmm.
Is he's gonna look to see what all he can see is coming.
Yeah.
And
And
Malgra will
Mhm.
check on the Nexus siphon before then going to the gates to check on the
Yeah.
perimeter.
Fantastic. Yeah, Siphon's working at full pelt, so you're okay for that. The rest of you
Brilliant.
get up onto the walls to have a look out, and what you can see ahead of you is almost a rolling bank of fog is coming towards the settlement. It's sort of tinged with an amethyst colour, lightning rolls across it, and faces almost swirl out of the fog, faces that you've recognised. Over your time in Shaiish, things form into the shape of Nagash. His magic is so powerful that mountains can just erode into the shape of his face, kind of thing. And that's what you see, almost to that thing in Harry Potter, the thing in the sky, that kind of thing, like almost like a cloud face that's coming across. And it stops a few hundred yards out from the settlement, and then there is a noise. There is a tramping noise, a noise you all recognise, the noise of an army on the move. And out of that fog comes, well, I'm going to basically a legion of skeletal warriors marching in lockstep, perfect discipline, large shields, great blades, rank upon rank that you can see. They do not all come out of the fog. So actually, what you can see about 3 ranks deep, whether that's it, you don't know, but it's intimidating either way. Yeah, rank upon rank of skeleton, and more threatening, there are 3 larger figures. These are great winged creatures, huge skeletal figures, massive wings of bones. Within them is contrails of screaming ectoplasm, and these 3 things, they would tower over you, Derek, they tower over you, Vel. And as they approach with the skeletal army, the 3 of them leap up into the sky and sort of start circling above. Vel, you've fought these things before. You recognise them. They're known as Morghasts, and basically they are emissaries of a race known as the Bone Reapers, which are just imagine a massive skeletal force army. I'm not going to go too deep into all the lore of Age of Sigmar, but basically horrible warriors that are blindly loyal to Nagash, and absolutely will give no quarter. 3 Morghasts fly up into the air, and voices fill all 4 of your skulls, really, as if they're talking to you, but they're not actually talking. It's almost transmitted into your head, and each of you hears it in your native tongue, basically. So Malgra would hear it in Dwarden, and for Darak, to you it sounds like the song of the Sylvaneth, which is basically like a living song. For other players, unfortunately, for people at home, I can't show you because obviously if I share screen, it will explode OBS. I have put pictures of these, of what's coming towards you in the Discord. If you want to find out what you're looking at, just Google Mortec Guard or Morghasts for the people at home. And these are the things that are coming at you. The Morghasts fly above you, and each of you here within your head, we come to demand the tithe. Send your speakers to treat. So, you've been called out, and it appears from the look on people's faces, it's only you 4 that can hear what these Morghasts have just said.
I turn to Velenzan and I take a step back. After you guys. Not getting involved in this one.
Who is going to treat, if anyone?
Well, I suppose I will do it then.
Hey, brave soul, you are. I'll be right behind you.
Yeah,
Derek
exactly.
will join.
Cool. So you can do it from the walls. That's fine, just as long as
Yeah.
I know who's talking. What do you want to ask of them?
Yeah, yeah. What kind of tithe are we supposed to give?
We've come to claim the bone tithe. All mortals who live in our domain must pay, and you are no exception.
Zan will pipe up. I think you will find the settlement is rather new. We do not have bones here or fresh dead. And even if we did, they are part of the lands now claimed by Sigmar.
They circle again, and almost as if they're communicating to each other, and how they communicate to each other is in screams. Basically, it's awful. There's just these horrible screeches and screams coming from them. And you get a reply, which again just echoes in your skull. 1 in 10 must pay the tithe in whole, stripped of flesh, their bones undamaged, and presented to us. This payment we expect every harvest season henceforth. We will return to collect the first tithe in 2 nightfalls.
Should we scream something defiant in their faces, or should we just wait 2 days and then try to try to deal with it then?
Tell them there's only 9 of us.
Well, Malgra, I'm going to say you actually, as part of being a Caradron, is you are used to complex codes and contracts. This is like your shtick. So tell you what, if you give me a guile check, and I want 2 successes, I want 2 4+, you can maybe convince them to give you a bit more time, maybe?
Okay. It's looking bad. It's 2 1s and 2 2s.
Yeah, no, not a chance.
No.
They've made their demands.
Uh,
They after you entreat as much as you can, they simply reply, if you refuse, we'll reap 10 harvests as one. Every bone will be claimed, every life ended, you will cease and we will grow. That is where the Bone Reapers and the will of Shaish, as the Undying King, commands it.
Mm.
well, I certainly didn't invite these guys to this party.
Do you want to yell something in defiance or refuse, or what's the plan, or let them go?
Zan will just repeat that they can try. It'll be like, you can try to take bones, but as I said, they are Sigmars. You have given us no reason why your contract even has any merit here.
Mm.
Maybe if you brought us evidence of a contract. I know how Nagash is a fan of such things.
Okay, give me you pick me a skill. Pick me a skill.
This will be. Well, let's think. Skill wise, I mean, it's contract law, but through religion, so it's mostly going to be theology.
Go for it. Go for it. Use your absolute best preacher voice and zealotry.
2 successes.
Okay. Yeah, there's a moment where they almost are a bit like no one has probably said no to them before. There's kind of a moment of just like they fly closer, probably within bowshot, to almost view you for. They obviously weren't expecting there to be nothing other than cowed settlers. You dare to intrude on Nagash's kingdom. We will return in 2 days, and you will pay. But you've obviously rattled them a bit, and that's not a joke about them being skeletons. But you've obviously sort of put a sort of, oh, hang on. Hang on. Does anyone want to take a shot at them before they go, or are you going to let them fly?
I think it's probably best to let them fly, though, right?
I don't know. What does Derek want to do?
Just go
Derek.
into a defensive look.
Right.
Defense. Not looking like he's going to do anything, but
Yeah.
in a more defensive stance.
Yeah. Got you. Yeah. Because you've got a great bow as well, so you could have it sort of pulled back, kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah. They sort of see this, and after delivering that last message, they shriek and then bat their wings away. And then with an incredibly loud call, for the first time you realise everything they said has been silent. It's just been in your heads. They call out across the settlement, "Hearken now, all mortals below. Your undying king has spoken. The tithe must be paid." And they fly back at a rapid speed back into the cloud. And the skeletal guard who were watching in lockstep just step backwards, almost like automata, back into the cloud. At that, you realised how quiet this all was. To you, this was a conversation. The crowd behind the walls just break out into not panic, but confusion and like, what time? What's going on? And immediately you are clamoured. Now, I'm going to bring in a game mechanic here. I mentioned there was a Doom thing before. We were at Doom 1 at the very beginning because nothing was wrong. Because of the Bone Reapers arriving, the Doom track is now at 4. Don't worry, there's nothing you can do about that. There was nothing you can do about that.
Oh my goodness.
That does come in mechanically because if you are to fight those Morghasts, their hit points depend on the doom of the whole area. They get stronger the more people are in despair. So just so you're aware, the doom is at 4. Don't worry, nothing you can do about that. However, there is something you can do now. Basically, the crowd are like, what tithe? What are we paying a tithe for? What's going on? And start clamouring at all of you. Do you explain what they've just wanted? Does one of you want to say what tithe they've mentioned? Or do you want to hide it? Or do you want to? What's your plan with the crowd?
Listen. Don't ask me. Ask the holy man over here. He's the one. He's the one that spat bars at them.
Great. I'll stay stood upon the battlements and turn to the settlers. Do not fear the foul, wretched minions of Nagash have made claims they have no right to. I believe when they come that they will not break these walls, and in fact we will find a way to circumvent their questionable contract upon bones. In fact, I have an idea. Bear with us, and we will be and come to the temple in a few hours, and I will instruct you all.
Okay, that's great. Could you just make me a determination roll, please, to see if your speech inspires the people to
3
let
successes.
you go about? Yeah, brilliant. Yes, your familiar rhetoric sort of convinces that they obviously they still start muttering between themselves, but yes, you manage to calm the crowd for the moment. Vel, could you just do me an intuition check, please? I just want you to see if you can gauge the mood of the crowd at all.
Yes. Intuition. Yes.
Brilliant. How many successes did you get? Sorry.
I got 3 successes.
Great, yeah. You get the sense from the crowd after Zan's spoken that they seem a bit scared. There's a layer of fear, obviously, but they seem defiant. And the chat immediately seems to turn to, well, I'm going to go get ready. I'm going to get my stuff together, kind of, not in a fleeing way, in a to fight kind of way. So you're able to read that from them. Okay. You have time to prepare now. In fact, you have 2 days to prepare before they return. What's the plan? I've got a couple of options you can take if you want, or what have you got a special plan yourself?
Converge with the holy man and find out what this plan of his is. That's what we're gonna do.
Zan is going to be found near the temple, kind of just contemplating the what was said.
Hmm.
But he has a plan,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
actually seems quite happy with himself about this plan.
It's a great plan, everyone.
It's a brilliant. It's a great plan. So
Are we
he'll
gonna
be
share
like
this
he'll
plan?
have there'll be like some stone table which is used as a small altar,
Yeah.
and he's just kind of like sat on the earth next to it. So they want bones, yes, one for every 10, or 1 in 10 of everyone here must give bones. They didn't say where from.
Hmm.
They assume we are foolish enough to slaughter like cattle our settlers to provide these bones.
Hmm.
And of course, Nagash would love to have that done, because then more easily the souls here of those dead can be claimed. But they only ask for bones, not souls. Bones. So I suggest, while this is rather distasteful, why do we not just simply find the bones, dig them up? This is the realm of death, after all. There are surely the bones of ancient settlements here, long forgotten. And as a small gesture of how they would be providing a service to the living, we can take what relics we find of those old civilizations before the time of chaos, back when it was a true pantheon, and we can give them some respect, honor the dead as they provide to the living. Unlike these profane dead that walk about.
Hmm.
Oh, I like where you're coming from.
It's good. Would they still be empowered? Would Nagash still get some?
Yes,
from these
he
bones?
said They said they wanted bones. They didn't say. They did not say the exact details. They did not have a single iota of guile to present their claims and the contract. So let us just say we are playing fast and loose with the letter of the law here, and the law is that of Nagash, and I'm one for playing with the fine print. And after all,
So
I'm a
you're-
priest. I'm
Love it.
all about the fine print.
So wow, you're up for paying them.
Yeah, but like, we'll find by
counterfeit.
completely, as long as we find enough, bones.
Well,
They'll
it's
do-
something we
they'll-
could engage the entire settlement in doing. Actually,
Yes, indeed. We
that is
will
something we
need
could
the
do.
entire settlement.
I like this
they'll-
plan.
Did have a point though. You did mention that if you do give them this amount of bone, they are going to use that to basically, what you know of the Bone Reapers is they use it to reshape themselves and are able to create new weaponry and new Bone Reapers with those bones. And they are going to come back what did they say? Every 2 seasons?
Yeah, but I mean, the alternative is like going into battle with them at this moment. The other thing is, it would give us some time to repair the clearly faulty defensive mechanisms of the settlement. So really, the aim is to buy as much time, and so that we can do that, and of course train the settlers further, the militia, and perhaps find allies. There are surely other settlements nearby that are having to deal with exactly the same problem.
So actually, while we're on this, Dara, could you make a weapon skill check for me, please? You can see if you can quickly assess the settlement's defenses.
weapon skill check.
Yeah.
I got a 4, 2 3s, and a 1.
4, 2, 3, 0, 1. Okay. Yeah, and as I mentioned, you're not 100% sure if the walls would hold in a protracted battle at this point. If the Bone Reapers come back and attack, your view, Darak, is that you're going to need to spend a bit of time rebuilding some of the walls and stuff. So you've got a choice here, basically. Yes, you can follow Zan's plan and start a search. Basically, the entire settlement would almost have to empty and start digging around for bones, which could work. It could pay them off. But then you've got this problem in a year, but that's okay. That's for future people. Or, if you want, you can start preparing to defend in case you think either one, the Bone Reapers aren't going to stick to what they say, or two, you're not able, because you're going to need to find 30 complete bodies of bone for them. They ask for 1 in 10 complete bodies. So you need to find 30 bodies. But it's up to you. If you want to pay them off, you can pay them off. We'll have a little pause and I'll go rewrite the scenario. Or you can, or you can defend. So it's up to you. What you want. And honestly, if you do want to go for a search and stuff, roll some dice, see if you can pull out what you want, and rely on the Bone Reapers actually sticking to their word.
There's got to be.
They were going to slaughter us if we didn't provide the. They were going to attack us and kill us all if we didn't provide. So I mean,
that cave, right, is with the cave paintings of exactly this problem.
Yes.
Yep.
Has to be from some ancient civilization that's in these lands. So that cave, there must be more like that, and there must be some ancient, like their own catacombs or mausoleums where they would have kept their honoured dead, and similar, if they were able, because obviously they would have. There would have been the case of there are some dead they would not have traded with, and I get the feeling we've got here is that these Bone Reapers are lazy. They like people giving them doing all the hard work. Like they could have come and gathered up bones from dead civilizations that are literally there in the ground, but they can't even be bothered to dig up that. So let's just do that as our stalling tactic initially, and then later on when they come, we'll be better prepared because we'll hopefully we'll know a bit more about them and therefore can send them packing.
Okay, so the plan is get back to the cave system, go in there, find what you can.
Yeah, there might even be some lore, ancient lore, scribbled somewhere that they may have tried this, or how to defend against the dead. Because remember, the other thing is, from what we understand of the realm of Shaiish, is that Nagash's claim upon all the realms of all the underworlds, because remember, it's not a singular underworld. We're in a realm that's made up of underworlds of many different civilizations that have occurred over the entire history of the mortal realms, which is many millennia. His claim upon that is simply because he has inverted the magical resonance of the entire realm. So rather than magic being centered at the perimeter, it's all focused at the center. So this realm is more like a torus rather than being like a plane, and everything's being slowly sucked towards Nagash's inverted pyramid. Yeah, stuff him. Let's see if we can play by their game a little bit, but also find some loopholes, because I feel that because the dead like to play by rules. They're dead. They're immutable. They're hate to say it, but like this is the type of thing that Zinch would be thinking as well.
Yeah, you sure
Zan wouldn't be saying that, but that's me as a player.
this priest of Sigmar is just like, yeah, let's pay the dead, and also I've got a plot here. Okay, do the rest of the party agree? Is that the plan? I'm going to warn you, if you do go off, the doom will increase in the settlement because their four mightiest heroes are like, right, see ya, we'll be back in a minute. It's like, oh, okay, I guess we stay here. But the option is completely there, and I'm saying that honestly as a GM, if you want to.
Well, I think it's a great option. Maybe I can stay at least and train the. I'll play with you guys anyway, but my character is there with training the militia, keeping their at least somewhat their.
You could do that if you want to spend a day. You've got 2 days before they return.
Yeah.
You could spend a day between all of you prepping the settlement. So. Training militia, setting traps, fixing up some of the defenses, and then on the second day leave, or do it the other way around. If you want to do 1 day prepping and 1 day trying to get to explore the
probably
catacombs.
Prepping is probably the best. I don't know how much the doom counter will go up, of course, but I think prepping would probably be more seen as more encouraging to the settlers. I think, and then we can spend the second day checking out the cave and stuff.
Preparing the arable land, there must have been some skeletons dug up in that process as well.
No. I'm going to say no. The megalith, when it came down, will have crushed anything that was under the ground to smithereens, I'm going to say.
Listen, as much as I'd love to come out with you and dig some holes, I'm going to send Urgra out with you. He can go and dig, take his team. I'll remain here working on the fortifications.
Okay. So, plan is spend a day prepping and then a day exploring the catacombs. Is that right?
Yes.
Sounds good.
Sounds right.
Yeah, that's good.
Cool. Okay. The first day, nice and easy. We'll do a few checks to see how much you can prep the settlement. Who wants to train up a militia force to sort of hold the settlement while you're away?
Can me and Derek do it, perhaps?
Yeah.
Or
It's a weapon skill check, so whoever's got the highest weapon skill, roll it.
46 for weapon skill.
Let me see my.
He does.
Yeah, weapon skill. I have 5d6. So it's me.
Ooh.
So I'll roll.
Go for it.
4, right?
Yeah, you're rolling all the dice. How many 4 pluses do you get?
I got 2.
2. Okay, you're able to basically, you get a bit of training in for the purposes of mechanics. If a fight breaks out, you have 2 militia units to use who will be able to assist you in the battle. So you're basically able to train. There's the free guild anyway, but you're able to train some of the settlers to actually fight as well.
Okay.
Try not to get them killed because the doom will go up if the settlers are killed. Who wants to work on defences? I'm guessing this is Malgra's realm.
I will happily deal with some defences.
Okay, roll me a crafting check, and you're looking for a 4+.
46. And I got a single 4+. I got a 5.
That's enough. Okay, pick one of the zones. Have a look at the map. Pick a zone and determine that is defended. And basically that will make it, you'll get a bonus for any combats in that zone. And while you're doing that, you could set traps on one of the zones, or you could prepare some medicines as well. Would Dagger and Zan want to do that? Derek and Zan want to do that?
Sorry, what was that?
You can either set traps in one of the zones as well, or prepare medicines. Like basically you could use the temple as a place in case of a siege.
Yeah, I'll be preparing medicines.
Cool.
Derek
And Derek,
will
do you want to set traps?
Yep. He's
Cool.
going to use that hunter skill of his.
Ace. Yeah, you and Carly basically together work. Could you roll me stealth, please?
got 2 that are 4+.
Okay. Choose me a zone to trap, please.
Okay.
Just pick one of the zones and say that is now trapped. And Chris, could you roll me a medicine check to see if you're able to help prepare the infirmary effectively?
What is which one was fortified?
Oh yes, so
Yep.
Margaret, you
The Nexus Siphon I'm going to fortify because I think that's probably the most important feature.
that makes a lot of sense. So zone 6. Okay.
I got 2 successes on medicine.
Yeah, you're able to basically you turn the temple into what would be a makeshift infirmary for anyone to get back and heal that basically. So that's sorted. That's done. And Darak, where are you trapping?
I think he's gonna put traps in with the domiciles where people live to try to give them a bit more protection as
Nice.
they hide in their homes.
Yep.
So
Brilliant.
that's what he's gonna do.
Yeah,
Protect
you
the
big like
homes.
traps and stuff. Fantastic. That's great. Okay, I'm actually going to drop the doom down by 1 level because your preparations, basically getting the infirmary ready and the defenses, training up the militia, give the people a bit of a kind of a boost. And you've
What level?
prepared.
What level are we at now? Right now?
3. Doom level 3.
Yeah.
And between the 4 of you, you prep Grimreach before you set out the next day to see what bones you can uncover in the catacombs. So, are we able to take a little break here? Give me 5-10 minutes just to quickly do something, and everyone get a drink, have a biological break.
Sure.
So, if we are back in 10, is that all right?
Yeah, that's okay. All right.
Sounds good to me. Yep.
Fantastic. Right. See you all in 10.
And we should be back. Yeah, I'm good. We're back.
Fantastic. Right, great stuff. So we've fast forwarded the action a day forward. You've spent 1 day preparing, and you've got a day now before the Bone Reapers return to demand their tithe. And your plan is to get out there, explore these catacombs that Derek found early on, and see if there are catacombs there are, and see what you can uncover there. So the day dawns. It's now Moon Day, which is a terrible name, but it is Moon Day, and you set off early in the morning. It was about an hour's journey, I think I said before, and I'm nothing if not consistent. So it is an hour's journey again for the four of you. A little bit shorter for Derek and Velg, as you're quite tall, and quite a lot more for Malgra, as you've only got wee little legs. But you can fly because you've got your ether rig, so you can sort of balloon your way across. You return to the caves. Derek, you're very deftly able to find your way to the caves again. They were quite sort of distinct. And Lee, you lead the group, the four of you, into the cave system and down the passages as before, and into the chamber that you found with the altar and the images all around. And the other three of you, a bit more savvy to this world than Derek is, recognise that yes, the giant skeletal figure is one of... You've seen this kind of rendition before, and it's obviously an attempt at the rendition of Nagash. It is. People are paying tribute in bone to Nagash, as you have been asked to do. This is obviously a ritual that has gone on for some time. What do the four of you do? You are in this chamber. It is a roughly hewn stone chamber. There is the altar. There's evidence of human occupation in that there are obviously rocks that have been pulled into a circle around the altar. The only light provided is what you bring with you. So there's no torches in here. Obviously, it's an old abandoned thing, and you're a few caves in. So, Malgra, you're probably going to have a lantern attached somewhere on your rig, so you don't need to worry. You've probably got something that sort of hangs off that beams, that gives out a sort of ambient light almost. Darak, you try and keep away from open flames, so I'm guessing you're not carrying a torch. Vel or Zan, are either of you carrying a torch, or are you just going to rely on the?
No, I'll carry a torch.
Okay, cool. What do you do? You're in the chamber.
So I think we're essentially just looking around for signs of any tunnels that would have been blocked up, and likely, and maybe even like listening to where sounds a bit hollow, and if there is signs that there's likely further, tunnels below us.
Okay, so you're literally going to knock on the floor. I'm going to OSR this and make you tell me what you're doing. You're going to knock on the floor.
Yeah, I've got my hammer. I'm going to be knocking tapping the walls with the hammer.
Fantastic. Do me a check then. Let's see what skills we've got. Need to get the book again. Sometimes you might not have the skills, or might just ask for a straight up like mind check or something.
Okay.
If anyone has... I think crafting would count for this, survival would count for this, or just straight up mind if you haven't got particular skills for that. But you'll need a success basically.
Listen, holy man, looks like you've been using that weapon for bashing skulls in. You need a person here who knows how to dig a hole.
Yes, Master Dwardin. Do what you do best.
Aye, step out the way. This is a professional's territory now. And I'll roll crafting, I guess.
Yeah, go for it.
Whoa! I got 4. Oh yeah, definitely passed. I got 4, 5, 5, 6.
Fantastic. You pull out your finest little bell hammer and do a little bit of tap tap tap, tap tap tap, tap tap tap, and the three of you watch Malgra go to work, go into a sort of trance as she square, every inch almost is going through, and eventually you hear the noise you want to hear. There is a strike of a hollow note, and it looks like it's how there's the altar, and then there's about half a dozen stone blocks that have obviously been pulled to make seats, and it's under the largest of them. It feels like there may be something under the largest of the stones.
And just like that, magic. And I step away and say, "Go on, do your worst."
Let's start moving stuff around.
Okay, so this is going to be Derek and
Derek,
Val,
yeah.
I think.
Derek, I think most of us can do the best things. Yeah.
Yeah, Zan, you're certainly helping. You've got the high vis on, and you're sort of going like that as you do the work. Which of you is going to?
I suppose.
It's who's got the highest might, and the other one can help, so they can add dice to it. So
I have 5d6 in might. Derek, what do you have?
No wonder I was muted. Sorry. I have 4d6 in might.
Well, then you can help me out then.
Yes.
Mal, you roll all of yours. Derek, you just roll one of yours. Try and get as many 4 pluses as you can.
Just roll one?
Yeah, because you'll help it. It's the help mechanic, basically.
Hey.
I rolled 2.
Nice,
Successes.
and we got a third with Derek. So yes, between the pair of you, you're quickly able to sort of engineer a leverage mechanic, and this boulder goes out, and this is a full on a circular boulder that rolls out, and there is a shaft below. Now this is where it gets a bit weird, because the shaft is an almost perfect circle. This is dug. This is not a natural cave. This is perfectly circular, almost slightly ridged as it goes down, as if someone's taken a giant drill to it. So it's got that kind of slight ridging all the way down, and it is veined all the way down with amethyst crystal almost. It's mostly granite, but there are very distinct, glittering from the torches and Malgra's light, there are amethyst veins of rock going down, and it goes down not quite vertical, probably at a 45-degree angle. So you won't slide down unless you want to, but it is going deep down. It is large enough for both Vel and Darak. You can fit down there. It is a large tunnel, and obviously designed to be traversed. It's not a trap or anything like that. It's obviously a tunnel designed to be traversed. As you pulled the rock back, there was the sound of almost the equivalent of when you open a fizzy bottle of something and you get that you get that fizz, and a mix of that, moans and screams all at the same time. As you almost uncork it, you get a release of pressure and then moans and screams at the same time, just off in the distance.
Don't look at me. That wasn't me.
Yeah, exactly. But Chris, are we having the entire settlement behind us?
No,
the settlement are remaining at the settlement. Otherwise, someone could just walk.
We might have some people out front who brought a cart and steeds to bring all the bones back on.
Yeah, you've got a vexillation of 3 guild soldiers who brought a couple of the grave steeds and a couple of wagons, but they're staying out. This is Soulbound business to go diving. They're not paid enough for this.
Okay, that's good.
Grave robbing.
Yeah,
300 people behind us. Like, okay, no, but yeah, okay, that's great. I'm stoked. I think we should slide down.
Who's going? Classic DM question. Who's going first?
I'll go first.
Oh,
no, I'm going. Derek put his hand up first. He's going in.
Okay.
Go, big man.
He's not going to slide, but he's going to take precise steps going down.
Well, what I'm going to say, I think what you could do as a Kernoff, I don't know how in law this is, but I reckon you could actually almost put your hands into the soil, and it roots in a little bit, so you can lower yourself down quite securely, if that makes sense.
That.
As you put your feet down, you can like curl them into the soil, to temporarily root. So actually, you are on all fours very adept at going down this kind of tunnel because it's soil. So you are, it is soil and rock kind of thing. So you're able to almost have climbing things built in.
Well, maybe Zan and Malgra can, ride Derek down, and I can just
It's
bring
not
up the rear.
that big. It's big enough that basically you two are going to have to crawl, like fully, almost spelunk down, whereas the other two can maybe shuffle down kind of thing. So no, you couldn't ride it. So we've got Derek going first. In darkness, don't forget, you are going down pitch black.
Yep.
Because the torches are behind you.
I'll go second then.
Okay, who's going third?
Zan will drop in.
Excellent. And then Malgra's at the back.
I'm not going down. Oh, screw this. I jump down with it.
Excellent. Okay. Darak, I'm going to make you do a scout check for me, please, as you advance down. Now, I'm going to put you at disadvantage here, so it's 5 pluses. Basically, how advantage, disadvantage is in this: 3 plus for advantage, 5 plus for disadvantage. So, I want you to do a scouting check, but you need in 5s.
Don't have scouting.
Do you not have scouting? You should do. Survival. Go for survival is what I meant to say. Apologies, I meant to say survival.
Okay. I got a 5 and a 6.
Great.
Excellent. Yeah, that's brilliant. That's 2 successes. You are, despite the darkness, able to fumble your way down, and you get to the bottom quite safely. You realise it levels out and opens up into another cavern that is, again, it's quite roughly hewn, but it is hewn. This has been dug. This is not a natural cave. You're only really able to see this just as Vel appears behind you with a torch lighting. You're sort of stood in darkness for a moment, and then the light behind you flickers up. You did feel one thing, though. As you were going down, Darak, actually, I'm going to message you privately, and then it's up to you whether you want to share it or not.
Okay.
Make sure I message the right person. Okay. So I've told you something. You've got down there, and then one by one, the others also emerge into the roughly hewn cabin at the bottom. So you've got the tunnel up behind you, cavern in front of you, and again, this is depicted obviously the same artwork style as the cavern above. It's different scenes though. This seems more like scenes of what you have is almost like a panel of obviously someone's life. You'll see them as a child, and a depiction of their parents, and then a depiction of them being a farmer, say, and then that panel appears to be over it's almost like a plaque on a wall, if that makes sense, and there's loads of them all over the place, and then there's a tunnel leading off into the darkness directly in front, and the 4 of you are in this, let's call it the plaque room. So yeah, a room with all these plaques on the wall, effectively, each depicting obviously a pictographic depiction of someone's life, as both what they did or something that they some event in their life kind of thing.
Okay. Are the plaques removable?
You can try. Do you want to do a mic check to see if you can pull one off the wall?
Please. Would love
Go for it.
to. 2 successes.
Okay, brilliantly desecrating someone's grave. You put your hand on the plaque and pull it, and yes, these are actually plaster plaques. And pulling it away, there is a small cubby hole behind each one, with a very poorly manufactured brass urn behind it.
So they cremate their bodies.
In this room, this is obviously the cremation.
This
place.
might be a great thing to do in this if you have Nagash trying
Really
to
good idea to
steal your
burn your
bones.
dead.
Yes. Okay.
Or bury them upside down so they dig down. But yeah, you pull that off, and that's what's in front of you.
Okay.
What's the plan? There is still a tunnel ahead into the darkness.
Any
Eric.
bones?
No,
In this
no
room,
bone.
no, a rat. There's a rat bone. There's a very dead, very desiccated rat in the corner.
Brilliant. Well, we're not going to get any tithe from this room. We might as well sell the bronze urns to get an airship out of there.
Well, yeah. Okay. We can do that later then. Maybe we should go further down.
We should be careful, though. The tunnel
should-
was unstable.
Ah,
Aye.
terrible.
More bad news.
As he said,
Typical.
as Derek says this, there's like a tiny trickle of soil sort of drops, and runs down into the room that you're in. Just a tiny trickle. Obviously disturbed by the fact that 4 people just travelled down the tunnel.
Okay. Then we need to move a little quickly then.
Okay, on into the next.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stay in the same marching order.
Yeah.
Derek might not stay in the front because
Well, I'll go ahead then. I'll take the I'll be scout this time.
Val,
Hey, don't you
say-
believe in me in this room?
Yeah, you advance on, and this is a walkable tunnel, a lot wider than it's not a crawling as you were, and it leads down until you enter another cavern which has the same all along the sides of this place. Even in the sort of adjoining tunnels, there are beautiful artworks. These are like really, if you send somebody like ethnographic core down here, they will have a field day because there are some wonderful depictions of whatever this civilization was before it was consumed by chaos. Age of Sigmar being a very post-apocalyptic game. This was obviously a peoples that existed before chaos destroyed them. There are some wonderful artworks, and the 4 of you are all sort of taken by them. This is obviously a culture that was sophisticated and was advanced and then was destroyed. And you view all of these as you go until you enter a much larger chamber than the one before, and this feels almost like a hallway, almost like an entranceway, a triclinium, sort of a Roman sort of style welcome room. Obviously not welcome room. This is a catacombs, but but where you would meet to gather to then honor the dead, and it's huge. Goes up into you've obviously come quite deep, and it has quite a high ceiling. All along the walls are again more of these plaques, these depictions on the walls of lives. The difference in this room, however, is there are 2 statues. 2 statues, one to the east, one to the west, both of them depicting the god king Sigmar in a very, very archaic way, an art style you've not seen before, very abstract, but very definitely Sigmar. The hammer, which is like the all-encompassing symbol of Sigmar, is there, and a comet for a halo is sort of behind him. And the floor is dusty, thick with dust and detritus, but obviously a grid, almost like a checkerboard chess pattern of black and white squares across the whole floor. And then there's a ornate doorway on the other side with almost like a carved relief door and a depiction of a figure with a crown at the other side.
Do you make of this then? What about you, Zan and Vel? This looks like your kind of domain.
So the floor is a checkerboard pattern.
Yeah. Very definite white and black marbles.
And how big is each square?
Not like ridiculous, like almost like a pavement slab. So not like
Okay.
ridiculous, but you know, a good size.
Hmm.
If it was D&D, they'd all be 5 foot by 5 foot,
Yeah, right.
which would be handy.
Oh.
I mean, looking at it, Zan's immediate gut feeling, given that this is a tomb, is this is likely trapped.
I know what you mean. Did you bring your
He's
10
gonna
foot pole?
he's gonna find like he's gonna ask the Sylvaner. Find a. There must be some heavy stone near here. Pick it up, just chuck it in the middle of the room and see what happens.
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to say, please?
Please.
There are stones. Well, there are a couple of things you could throw. You could go back and get yourself one of those brass urns, and holy shit, now you're just desiccated.
That's really
You
harsh.
can take the plaque.
The plaque will do. The plaque will be heavy enough. Yeah.
The plaque could be thrown. There's plaster, or you could pull a stone from the walls. Like the walls are carved rocks, and you would actually be able to rip out like a bit
He's
of the
not-
wall.
Derek is not pulling anything from the walls after feeling how unstable the tunnel was.
No,
He's gonna just kind of
You've
turn
got a
around
bow.
and-
Don't forget. You've got a bow and a sword. Don't forget you are all carrying equipment. So if there's something you don't mind throwing, you could throw that.
he's
Or a
gonna go
squirrel.
grab one of the not throwing the squirrel.
Yeah, you're gonna grab one of the plaques.
Yes, he's gonna grab one of the plaques, come back and just do a little toss.
Cool. Okay, yeah, you fling it and it lands on a roll dice here. Black square. It hits and shatters into pieces. The echo is surprisingly loud, almost unnaturally loud. The noise of that plaster breaking, but nothing happens.
Hmm.
And you've desecrated. I'm going to keep a running total here. 2 graves now.
Is the checkerboard pattern? Does it extend all the way from wall to wall of this chamber?
Yeah, the only thing that isn't, there's a lip of about. There's obviously the entrance, and there's probably about a foot before it becomes that, and then it extends all the way to
Yeah,
the door.
because
at the
my
back.
other suspicion is that potentially each slab covers a tomb. So, if this, but then it also it's quite likely that this chamber could have been used as somewhere to prepare bodies for the next for where they're interred beyond. So, Zan's gonna walk forward, and someone's gonna have to.
Are you going to step on a white or a black square?
What was the slab thrown onto?
A black
Black.
square.
He's gonna step on a black one.
Okay. You step down, and for a moment, you think you hear your own name being muttered, and the square holds, and you're fine. You hear almost a ghostly.
Okay. I'll step forward, remaining on black squares.
Okay. No noise this time, but you step, and your foot crunches.
Okay, we better remember exactly. If we're gonna follow,
You can see because
exactly.
there's so much dust and detritus. It's incredibly easy to follow.
Yeah,
The
I'll
footsteps
keep
are
going
very
forward,
easy to follow.
keeping on black squares, but basically going
Okay.
in a straight line to the other side of the chamber.
Like, moving like a kind of thing. Yeah,
Mal-
each step. Go on.
I was wondering, Malgra's flying thing, is that only outdoors or is it
No,
working?
it could work here.
Just fly over.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to. I'm just waiting to see what kind of show you put on for me
You're already,
first.
you're already hovering in the middle of the room watching us, like.
Yeah.
I'm not going first. You guys are going first.
Zan, you by following the black squares, you make your way across quite easily. there's the occasional whisper of names and noises, but you make it across. You quickly dismiss them. Malgro, you floating across.
Oh yes, yeah. I'm just gonna chuckle to myself, and I'll meet you guys at the end.
Very sensible. And Darak and Zarak and Vel, sorry.
Yeah, well, I follow the same path that Zan took.
Okay. Yeah, and Darak, same.
I was trying to think of something clever that he might do, but
You can
No,
just
he-
cross the room. Yeah, don't worry about it. No.
he's just going to cross the room following the same path.
Fantastic. Yep. The four of you make it across safely and into the next chamber. Now, this, as you step in, is very much more what you were looking for. As you come into this room, there are longer plaques along the walls, body length sort of plaques, all down the sides, stacked, almost stacked like like a catacombs, basically. But ahead at the very end, it's a long chamber. There are probably say a stack of 10, and then another stack of 10, and then another stack of 10, all the way down. So 10 high, 3 body length, basically, of these plaques. And at the end of that, there is a throne. And sitting on the throne is a figure in armor with a crown on, remarkably like the one that you saw depicted above the door. And it's looking at you, and it is staring directly at you with amethyst eyes glowing.
Oh,
This is back.
yeah, that was a problem.
It's fine. Thought you got too scared. Thought you'd panicked and run.
Stream is back, yeah.
Stream's back.
Excellent.
Great.
Yeah, we thought for a second. The priest of Sigmar. We all turned around and they're gone. Just screw this. I'm out. Yes, this figure looks at you and awakens. And yes, this is a combat. It's actually going to go first as well.
That was me going to try and barter with it. Because,
No more talk. This figure lifts up and pulls a giant sword from its side. It's got a sort of bat symbol on the handle. It's a giant, what would be a two-handed sword, and brings it up and strides towards you. It comes towards in a not quite dueling, but in a very much a on guard pose, and is heading towards Vel, almost in a let's do this way. It obviously sees you as a threat and is advancing towards you to meet it in combat. You also realise, the four of you, so all it's done is turn, it stood up, moved. It does have metal, however, so it is going to take another action. Before it does, though, the four of you hear suddenly, from about 3 of the plaques to one side, there's hands start banging, and on one of them, a hand bursts out from through the plaster and starts sort of like reaching around. But more importantly, Mal, you're about to be attacked by whatever this is, and it comes in, bringing its sword down in a beheading slice towards you. So how combat works is pretty simple. I just roll its number of attacks. It will do a certain amount of damage. I will tell you, I think you've got an armor of 3, haven't you?
Yes, armor 3.
Excellent. So, it does 1 plus Doom plus S damage. So Doom is at 3 currently. So I'll roll to see how many it hits with. Okay, it strikes you for 4 plus 1, 5 plus Doom of 3, 8. What is your armor? 3.
3.
So you take 5 toughness damage.
Okay.
Yeah, so it brings its sword down, You bring your sword just up in time, but it brings it down at such a strike. It absolutely it hurts. It bloody hurts. Then it's going to use its second metal to strike again. So it strikes at you again. This time doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Shit. Did you like your character? 7, 10, 11, man. 8 more toughness.
Okay. So we're seeing. I have 1 wound left then,
Yes.
and no toughness left. I can't use metal in any.
Now hang on. You do have Bulwark. So actually, he was looking at 6s to hit you because you've got a massive shield. So actually on that first strike, you would only taken 1. This strike, I did roll 6 6s, to be fair. So actually, you only took 1 for the first strike. And on this roll, you're taking 10 minus 3, 7. So you should be down to toughness 1.
Great.
Yeah, so not as bad. So I noticed you've got Bulwark. So yeah, basically it comes in, starts striking, and you're able to, I'm going to say you drop your torch and bring up because you've got a massive shield. So you bring that up to ward off the blows. So it's strong, unnaturally strong, but you're warding it off, and things are waking up to the size of you. It is now the 4 of you to act, and it is Malgra to go first. I'm going to say there are 2 zones in this combat. So the thing with zones is incredibly immutable. They can be the entire neighborhood of a town, or they can be a dungeon room split up into areas. In this case, there is like the central nave, that's the right word, isn't it? Where currently Vel and this creature are fighting, and then there's the entrance zone where the 3 of you are, where you basically stepped into the room. So that's it. There are only 2 zones in this combat, just to keep it easy. Vel is in front of you, so he's in 1 zone ahead of you. So you can move and do an action. You could move again if you want to. You can spend metal to do more than 1 action.
Excellent. So I'm going to remain where I am because that's the safest place to be right now, away from that horrible creature. I'm going to be not a friend of yours then. And I'm going to take out my rapid fire rivet gun and just try and have a shot.
Drill. Yeah, go for it. So you roll what you need to roll for the rivet gun, which has all worked out for you. 5 dice, looking at 3s. Again, this isn't actually the rules of Soulbound, but it's the stripped down version.
Okay.
It's good. There are 3 3s, 3 above 3.
3 above 3, okay, and it does 1 plus 3 success damage, and he has armor of. So you do. Okay, yes. You stitch him with the rivets from the nail gun, blowing bits off of the bones and the chunks of him, but he's still fighting. But yes, you've done a certain amount of damage, but I'm not going to tell you because I'm not that nice. You have metal to spend if you want to take a second action.
I begin to get up into the air to make sure that I can't be attacked. Just sort of bring myself upward.
Nice. Okay, you are running away. Excellent. Good. So you take a second move to evade effectively.
Yeah.
Excellent. Darak, what do you want to do?
So he's just going to use his bow and try to hit the thing that's attacking currently.
Yeah. Go for it. So attacks with a great bow, 4d6. You're looking at 4s, and yeah, just roll it.
I got 2 5s.
Cool. Okay, so that's 4 because it does 2 plus the amount of successes you roll. So that's 4 damage minus its armor does a certain more amount of toughness to it. Cool. Yeah, you embed an arrow into it. Unfortunately, being a skeleton, traditionally it's really annoying to try and shoot skeletons with arrows, but you do. You embed one of the rather large arrows that you are equipped with into him.
And I guess use metal.
Yeah.
You said it comes back each turn.
It does. Yeah, you generate one. It's always worth using metal. Yeah, absolutely.
And just gonna shoot a second bow, second arrow.
Go for it. Exactly the same.
Exactly the same result.
Nice. Okay, cool. Yep, another arrow hits it. It shrieks this time in a bit of pain, or the closest equivalent a evil undead thing could feel to pain. But you're obviously making headway. Zan, this thing of absolute evil is in front of you, and there are also things coming from the side. Don't
Yeah,
forget.
I'm going to make sure I'm in the same, like, just behind Vel. To then, I basically just raise my hammer up and proclaim Sigmar's name and call upon healing spirit because Vel needs it. So that's 5d6, and I'm looking for 5s or more. So Vel can heal a point of toughness. So I get 2 successes. So that's 2 points of toughness that Vel gets back.
Great.
And then I am going to use a point of metal and the other point of metal because I'm going to go all out on this first turn, given that there's also undead coming out of, like, God knows how many tombs opening up. So I'm going to also do Light of Sigmar. So 1 metal to activate it and 1 to as my extra action, and another metal, the other second metal I can use in a turn to also boost it. So that's 5d6.
Nice.
And I get 2 successes. So that means every enemy in that zone with me, so that'll be Mr. Big Dude ahead of us, plus any undead nearby in the zone in their coffins ready to pop out, all take 2 damage, ignoring armor. So basically, as I do that, I then just slam the hammer down onto the ground, and I'm sure it's like lightning bolts everywhere.
Yes, absolutely. There is the noise of the storm, like that rumble. Despite the fact you're deep underground, you somehow hear the rumble of lightning. And yes, there is like a blinding crash that both hurts the one in front, and the hands stop bumping for a second, and then you hear almost like the equivalent of a scream from them, and they stop for 2 seconds or so. They do start banging again, but you've obviously done something to them. Okay. Sorry, just keeping track of everyone's damage. Cool. It's back to it. Okay. Right. It's going to come in. So
I didn't attack, but maybe that was.
You didn't. Sorry, I completely skipped over you, Matt. I apologize.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Go for it. I'm so sorry.
Okay, I have 2 metal, so I suppose I'll use them all. So it'll be 3 attacks this round then.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would be
everything. Yeah.
I'll do that. I have a weapon skill of 5. Does my Warblade do anything else, or is that just damage?
Let's have
It tells you the difficulty to hit and then the damage
you're
it
looking at
does.
freeze, and for each free +1, that's the amount of damage you do.
Your weapons as well also count as magical attacks because all Stormcast weapons are made from Sigmarite.
Yes.
Which is incredibly useful if there's ghosties, because ghosts
Yeah, really good again. Not this guy's fine, but yes.
Okay, my first attack then. I got 3 successes. No, 4. 4 successes.
So that's 5 damage minus his armor. Yeah. Okay.
My second attack. I got 2 successes.
Nice. So that is 3 more damage minus that.
And my third attack then.
Yeah.
2 successes.
2, so that's 3 sets. Okay. So that's that.
So I'm swinging my Warblade at this undead creature 3 times.
Absolutely. And there are shards of it coming off as you are like hitting it. It's splintering and bits are coming off it.
Yeah.
It's still standing though, and it's still attacked. The 3 at the side pull themselves out. They're 3 sort of skeletons pull themselves fully out. They can't attack this turn, but they are heading towards you now. The big thing swings at you again though, Mal. bringing its sword down. 3, 4, 5. Okay. Does need 6s though. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You take 3 toughness damage,
Okay.
and then it's only regained 1 of its 2 metal, and comes in again. This time only doing another 3 more.
Okay.
Has that put you down to wounds, or are you still on your toughness?
I'm down to wounds now.
Okay. Yeah, this thing is basically bringing its sword down over and over again. You realise it's aiming for a head strike. It wants to tear your head off, basically. It's coming down and down frantically now. Malgra, you've jetted up a bit.
Oh, well, we've found our skeletons.
Hmm.
And she's going to... she's just going to absolutely just let fire with her rivet gun. Just blam, blam, blam at these... the skeletons that are coming out of the...
Right. Yeah. Go for it, yeah.
So it's 4 successes.
Nice. So that does 4 plus 1. Yeah, you destroy one. Basically, as it comes out, you fire the rivets into its head, and the skull just is destroyed as it comes out.
Excellent. And I'm going to use my metal to just move into the next fighting area.
So either that's the zone in front where Vel is, or back into the checkerboard room.
Into the zone where Vel is.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So you get a free movement, so you can move.
Yeah, and I'll do that then. I'll float over and I'll just take a shot at this.
You guys are heroes.
Excellent. So 5d6 again. So 3 this time.
Nice. That will do 3 plus. Well, this time you're using your saw. You didn't have to roll a 6, did you?
No.
Okay. So that's 3 plus. That's 4. Okay, you struck pretty true. Your blade goes into the crown of the of this thing, and it screams, and amethyst sort of smoke starts pouring out of a crack in its skull. It staggers back, obviously badly wounded now.
I've got your back, Vel.
Next, Darak, you're next. So there's now 2 of them coming out the side, and this thing is badly wounded in front.
Eric is going to... Well, I'm going to first take out the great sword and make a running charge, and he's going to go after the thing that's already wounded.
Nice.
And going to try to chop its head off.
Excellent.
Great.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Now, in actual Soulbound, there are rules for charging, but we won't have them in this. But they are cool. Your attack goes up, and your defense drops, which is always great fun.
Mm.
I got 1 success on that.
Okay, so your first attack is 1 success, plus the great sword does 2, so that's 3. Okay, so you get in there. Your first attack, he blocks. That's not quite enough. But you have a metal, so you can spend.
I was going to see if ask about using one of those points that are the group points to change my dice.
Into 6s?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, is everyone happy with that?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Make it happen,
So how many dice would you have rolled?
4.
Yes, you've got it. Yeah, you go in, you get in, and then bringing your great sword across, you take it at the neck, and the head bounces off one of the walls and skids, and the amethyst light in it dissipates. And as you do, the 2 skeletons coming out collapse into nothing, and you've defeated it.
Well done, Longshanks. Knew you had it in you.
Okay. You have cleared out this room, and for the purposes of time, I'm going to say you're able to then, after taking your breath back, all your toughnesses tick back up if you took any damage, mainly the Stormcast. You are able to sort of uncover what's behind all of these plaques, and behind each of these long plaques is a body. So there are a good amount of bone behind here, enough to take back to Grimreach.
Zan will find any. There must be some like religious iconography that is about, or anything that I would say, that Barrow King was wearing, like his crown.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We'll gather that, but
yeah.
I mean, clearly they date back thousands of years, right?
Yeah. Early hundreds, I think. I can't remember how a long time immemorial.
Does it looks like it dates before the time of chaos?
Yeah, Age of Myth.
So it's definitely So it'll be one of the kingdoms before Nagash was like claimed the entire place.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, we should, for the aim of, because we are taking the dead, but with the aim of, we're going to, though he didn't want to barter, we will try and like memorialize this dead king, and maybe see what we can resurrect of his civilization to remember. There might be some secrets or things, because what a nice thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if they may well have. There must be some signs somewhere that they may have venerated Sigmar back then as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, there were 2 statues to Sigmar in the room before.
Yeah. Well, there we go. They're in that case, then we'll venerate them, and maybe even make prayers that maybe that poor soul could be claimed by Sigmar and reforged, because he looks like a good recruit to me.
Yeah, could very well be a Stormcast in the future. Excellent. That's great. I really like that. So what I'm going to say there, I'm going to drop the doom down fast, actually. That's really good. Okay, you're able to then extract the amount. Are you taking just 30 bodies worth, or are you going to take more in case, kind of thing? What's the plan? And we can montage this. You are pulling out bodies. What's the plan?
We don't want to take more than we need, because I think that's greedy.
No, not more than we need, yeah. And we try to wrap each individual body in some kind of shroud and do it very, with as much reverence as is suitable.
Excellent. I mean, you are, selling them to people who are going to reforge them into weapons of war. But okay, my only question is, on the way out, how careful are you being in the checked room?
Oh, careful.
Careful, really.
I suppose we try to we keep the same path that we came in.
Given we got past it, there must be on the side that we're on now. There must be somewhere to disable the mechanism, if there is any trap mechanism.
Not that you can see, because basically it's the doorway and then it's the squares.
But yeah, just be careful.
Yeah, we'll be careful. We'll take the same. We'll make sure that we'll just take the same path that we took to get in.
Cool. Excellent. Okay, so yes, you're able to extract these. Being warned by, in fact, as Darak, what you're able to do is you realise by putting your roots into the tunnel, you're actually able to hold it steady, because basically you're able to hold the tunnel while the bodies are taken up. And as the last of the bodies are brought out and you come up, Darak, there's a rumble and some of the tunnel falls in behind you. But you're able to bring out the bodies you need and load them up to the cart to return to Grimreach.
One thing he would have done with the skull of the one dude, he would have tried to make sure if there were gemstones in it, to remove them if possible.
I would not. Zan's totally not letting you desecrate that skull. If we're doing anything with that,
they are not. They're not. Oh, they're trying to make sure it doesn't come back. They're not going to take the gems with them. They're just trying to.
I think, if anything, the skull of that dead king might be good to take back as, like, because because skulls are actually of dead heroes and kings are kept even by Sigmarite society, so it might be a good thing to take back to the temple and, as we say, as part of like memorializing this ancient lord, given that we're on his land.
So we just take the skull with us in that case and keep it in one piece.
Yeah. And hope his soul goes to the realm of heavens to be reforged. Not to dirty old Nagash. Screw Nagash.
Screw Nagash.
Okay. You load up the bodies and make the journey back to Grimreach. The town is very happy that you've returned. There was talk for a little bit of, like, obviously some people had panicked a bit. Basically, a rumor had gone through that you had abandoned them. But so when you are seen, there is a sort of joyous reception, and you're able to load in the bodies. Are you bringing them into the town centre itself?
Or should we leave them outside?
I think they need to come into the town, mostly to the temple, actually, to keep them safe and pure.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, you do that, and by the time you've done the catacombs, gone there, gone back, it is night, and day now dawns on the third day when the Bone Reapers promise to return.
Great, it's the assholes.
And they return, as they promise. They march in again as the day dawns. Well, no, actually, the day itself is quiet. You're actually able to spend a bit more time prepping Grimreach. But then as night sort of begins to fall, as Hish itself goes into eclipse, the cloud is sighted again from the High Squire Island. And once again, you are met with the sight of ranks of these skeletal guard emerging and the 3 Morghasts arriving at the gate to treat with you once again. You have the tithe, 30 bodies.
Yes, we have what you asked for. Though I still want to see the contract for this.
At that they
Be a dick to them about it. I want to see the. I want to see the paperwork.
There is a slight laugh between them, and one of them pulls out what's obviously the bones of someone, and they've been ossified together into basically a tablet onto which has been scratched words in an incredibly archaic language, and they sort of show. Malgry, you're like, yeah, I've dealt with ossified bone contracts before. This is
standard procedure.
Yeah.
I want to see it closer.
They bring it to you. One of them flying directly in front, which is terrifying.
I lean over to the Dwarden and just whisper and say, just look at it and whisper back to me and just make like we're really trying to figure out whether this is ironclad.
Yeah,
aye.
Because in my eyes, I don't see. We've already found we're already doing what we're doing, but let's drive home that we're gonna screw them.
Agreed. I see no profit in it for us in this deal, so I'll have a look. You see little telescopic glassy things coming down, more, and they're getting.
Do you agree with this line here? I'm not quite sure about the wording.
I've never seen wording like this before. You're going to have to reword this.
Roll me guile, please, Luke.
I don't think this has been written for the visually impaired either. I'd like to see that version of this, please. I did get 3 successes.
Fantastic. Okay, you managed to delay for like 2 hours of talking. There is very much.
Hang on. What do you mean forthwith?
Yeah. What does that mean? Unfortunately, you are dealing with things that have the patience literally of the dead. And
And is this herein in past tense or present tense?
Eventually, after a few hours, you do give
Yeah.
up the tithe.
Yeah.
But these things have obviously learned. Just as they begin to march back, one of them does turn and say, next year, 60 bodies. And they disappear into the clouds.
40! You're not getting a collarbone more.
And with the noise of Malgra shouting across the plains of Shaiish, you have successfully protected Grimreach from being wiped to the ground. Well done by the Bone Reapers. So I'll now delete all of this stuff that I wrote for the siege.
Telling you, how can they be such assholes without a cheek on their body?
Nice, that's good. But yeah, well done. You completed Reap and Sow in a way that is not at all like the written adventure. So anyone who's watching, feel free to go get the PDF because you'll have a different adventure. I completely had to make that one up. But more importantly, please, we are doing this for charity. We're doing this for a cause. We're doing this for a very good cause. Please do go to the RollforUkraine Facebook page. I think there's links in the chat either now or coming up.
Yep.
Please do go. They're doing great work, sending money to aid charities and the borders to help people who've been displaced by the horrible conflict in the Ukraine. That's why we're doing this. That's why we are having fun. We are fortunate enough to be able to do this. So please do donate to them.
And if you want to pick up Soulbound, that's what it looks like. It's very pretty, full color. The starter set is also really good. It has pre-gens, dice. It's much like the Warhammer Fantasy starter set, so it has a map in the box of the city of Brightspear. Brightspear is actually, if you pick up the current issue of White Dwarf, Brightspear is spoken about in the which it's definitely in here. Let me just see. No, it's not Tome Celestial.
I'd also highly recommend picking up the bestiary in case your players entirely change your plan for adventure and you can knock out a quick adventure.
And if you grab the GM's the GM screen, it has some small single-page scenario ideas in there, of which 2 I wrote. So they're just showing some more stuff.
More shill.
But yeah, and of course, if you want to learn more about Age of Sigmar and the Warhammer settings in general, then obviously go back, listen to the Dark Hammer episodes. If you're interested in Wrath and Glory, you can look at stream games that I've run, either for Dark Days Radio or in conjunction with Gehenna Gaming. So go over to their YouTube to find all episodes of Dark Tides that we were running for them. Also, similarly for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, where we were running Enemy Within campaign, which was the first part. At some point, we're going to have to do some more of that. Not that I can really... I feel like I can play in it, because like having written for part 4, I know kind of where it's going.
Yeah, the end.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it'll be good at some point to do some more Wrath and Glory, especially as there's lots of cool stuff coming up for that as well. But that is everything. So again, thank you, Rob, for running this. Thank you to the others for taking part. And
thanks very much, guys.
Everyone for watching. So that's all for now.
Thanks
and
all.
Goodbye.
See you soon. Don't forget to donate.
Bye.